Hello everyone and welcome to another Wano preview video, this time for an upcoming Nemesis 5 DLC that will launch at the 6th of January. And we will go over the first division today, we will go over the other division tomorrow, and then we will cover the patch on Monday. And the first division here is Division de Infantería Mecanizada Guzman El Bueno of the Spanish, our second Spanish division here, and the infantry and slightly lower tech of the two. So we're gonna start in the logistics tab, where we get a decent little mix here. Get a supply UE, the HU-10 Carga in called in the Spanish service, Pegaso, and a new big supply truck with 3,000 supply, the C-3464, a bus with big 3,000 supply here in it. We have a CV helicopter in form of a BO-105 here, or an HR-15 in Spanish service, and then a Santana Mando and a BMR PC that we both know already coming around here as our options, and then a FOB, or Punto de Abastecimiento coming around here as well. Infantry coming around in good numbers in this division, obviously an infantry tab, so only 1-2 cost slot, a lot of 1 cost slots outside of that. Most of the infantry units we already know from Brunette as well. We get a 7.6mm MG, we get a LUC 40mm grenade launcher in the BMR PB or the TOA LUC with more 40mm grenade launcher. We get the Guy BO1 AA gun here in the Santana or the Pegaso. Military police here in a lovely little Seata 500 PM option as well, or the Santana PM that we already know. So new little option here, 90 kmh, 60 off-road speed for that transport. And yeah, the military police itself, classic foreman squad here with submachine guns. The Zapadores, the engineers of the Spanish here, coming around in a TOA or Pegaso. We have them in a BMR version. This is new, 1 MG and 7 submachine guns. So a bit of a weird loadout, as it is a medium machine gun, so you can't use it in CQC. It's MG42/58 here. BMR PB coming around as a little transport option here, with a normal 50 cal and smoke, and then we have one with a dozer plate that gets 2 frontal armor. So this is the one that you will choose, as it currently doesn't really have a disadvantage over the other one. Maybe this one could actually go to 25 points with only 1 frontal armor. We'll have to see how that goes, but yeah, currently the PP VZZ is just the better option. Zapadores coming in the TOA, and then the M65 can come in the TOA with the dozer plate as well. And then we go to the Fusileros, and there we get the normal one, the one with the M65, light anti-tank rocket launcher, and then we have the C90 CR variant here with 1 card coming around as well. And since the C90 CR got buffed, this is a nice improvement here as well. And then we have the BMR option of this, so you can get a couple more BMRs in this, a couple more light transport options, and you get 4 cards of these. So if you want to go full BMR, and you might want to in this deck, then you can bring this around here in full BMR option. Get 1 option of each of the other cards, and then ATGM wise, you get Milan 2 and Milan 1 option here as well, in Tor or BMR Milan option as well. And then you also get an ITO, but the ITO you only get it in the Santana. No ITO variant of the BMR or the TOA coming around. And you also get M40A1s or CSR 106 coming around here on the Santana or as an all fire team in the Division 2. Artillery, a wide array of options, though in general, because it doesn't have the M110 and doesn't have the modern rocket launcher, still a bit weaker than what we get with Brunette. but you get good slots and you get all mortar options that you want. Toa with mortar in the rear, BMR with mortar in the rear, Toa with bigger mortar in the rear, 120, 81mm mortar. You get 105mm artillery gun. You get a 122mm artillery gun, A19 here. So this is a bit of an odd one. I believe this is the Soviet gun. So yeah, 122mm coming around. Then you get a 155mm with short range, and then you get a 203mm with decent range here. So this is going to be the big one that you're going to use the most, I believe. 2 rate of fire here. Really old gun, but big bang coming out of this. And then we have the M108 coming around again with 205mm and really short range. And then M109 A1B coming around with decent range. And a classic 155mm that we know from the M109. And then a new rocket launcher with pretty decent rockets. Artillery rework is still a work in progress, so not coming with this patch directly. So we'll see how all of these will perform after that. But currently, the rocket launcher might be an interesting choice. Range is decent, HE damage is decent as well, and you at least get 10 rockets out of the salvo here. And the reload time is okay, supply cost is okay as well, so this might be a decent one. And then I guess you take the 203mm and then maybe the M109 or so. We'll see how this one goes out, or likely a mortar option here as well. Tank tap coming around as a decent one as well. You get a good amount of ATGM options, Milan 2, and 2 ITO, and a TOW 2 option here with the BMR, with the TOW 2 on the rear coming in here. The TOA ITO coming around nicely as well. And then you get M47s coming around, and they actually have pretty decent penetration here with the 105mm gun. And M47 EU2 and 17 penetration here at 1925 range. That is pretty good. And M48s get the same penetration on max range. So they get really good penetration for an older tank here, as they have 105mm as well. And they come around with 10 frontal armor as well, coming around with smoke. So comparable to Leo 1A5, but they don't have a stabilizer, so that's but they have better frontal armor, slower obviously as well. So yeah, pretty good mid tank actually, and you get 3 cards of these. So the M48 A5 E2 here really carrying the Spanish quite hard, and the M47 E2 here pretty decent option as well. Availability pretty good on these as well. So this is a fine tank tab when it comes to the options. Slots are relatively limited, but the options themselves are pretty good. Recon tab, a really good one as well. You get your sniper team coming around in helicopters. You get your recon team that is cheap but doesn't have AT. And then you get Santana Razura with the exceptional optics thanks to ground surveillance radar. And you get also a little second unit here coming around with very good optics and a second trait, little truck that you could use. And I still think on a vehicle this is the most useful way to have this trait, so we'll see if it maybe shows up a bit more in this division, though the competition is pretty tough. Recon helicopter here, decent, only very good optics though. Exploratory coming around here with decent firepower, AT weapon, decent 9-man squad, coming in around a Toa or a Yui. No normal truck option, but both of these options are okay. Not great, but okay. And then the Trinité coming around in the BMR, PB, Recon, and with the C90 CR. This is a unit that you usually always gonna take. 8-hit man. You pay 5 points less than for the Exploratories, and you get the better AT weapon, so you lose 1 man, but I think that's for sure the unit that you're always gonna choose here. You get 2 cards as well, and the BMR is also pretty helpful for the opener. M47 E1 coming around as your recon tank, losing 2 penetration here and going to heat rounds. So in comparison, a good bit weaker here coming around, as it still uses the old 90mm gun. But good optics here, can spot for tanks. So decent idea here, maybe as well. Though the competition stays tough. VEC 25 showing up here with 2 cards as well. Those are good options as well. And that is not even the best, because you get a Special Forces recon unit as well. And this is one with a lot of anti-infantry firepower. The Guerilleros here coming around with a satchel charge, a sniper rifle, and 2 light machine guns, plus 5 normal rifles. And you get them in a Super Puma, so they can come in quick, or a normal Pegaso truck. Pretty good Special Forces. Really good at doing their job against other infantry. On the mid-range, good firepower here in this unit. So winning fights against other recon infantry, absolutely easily done by these guys. And then if you support them with a VC-25 that deals with light vehicles or so, or put them next to Unity, you have a really good setup here. AA, you get 2 cards of Eyehawks, so that's a good setup for anti-aircraft. You get a good amount of gun trucks here as well. The double 20mm here, double HS 820 coming around, the normal 20mm truck coming in as well, and then you get a Bofors, though this is only mid-level Bofors. It's not the good one that you get with Dutch, so it's not that special here. Double 20mm team, and a single 20mm team that you get around as well. No manpads once more, as the Spanish just didn't have any, so that's a bit annoying. And no mid-range missiles either, but 2 cots of Eyehawks plus good anti-helicopter with the guns does a pretty good job still. And you get a really weird little helicopter here, like a makeshift gunship Harvey Huey, and you get a couple of Hydra pods here with some 7 rocket pods here, 14 rockets in total, and 2 miniguns, 1 on each side here, coming around as well. Obviously not the greatest support helicopter, but good against infantry, and relatively affordable. It's just that the minigun doesn't do any damage against vehicles. If it would be 50 cal, like Gao guns, then this would be amazing. But with only miniguns, and only being helpful against infantry, really, it's not as great. S-14 Hydra rockets won't kill a transport or so either. And the miniguns, I guess, could against unarmored transports, but they will need to get pretty close there as well. So this is really only an infantry deleting machine, but it's pretty good at that job. And at least you get a helicopter option here, and you get it for cheap here with only 1 point for the slot. AirTap is fully Mirages, as you get a couple of fighter variants here. The issue with this whole AirTap is your Sidewinders are the old AM9Ps, which have pretty low range, and especially also low damage. Accuracy is relatively mediocre as well, but the 4 damage is the issue against other modern planes that have 10 hit points. You will need 3 hits of those instead of the classic 2 hits to kill them, so 2 Sidewinders just won't kill an enemy plane. The mix with the Super 530s, or the normal R530, does work decently well, as those deal 6 damage, so if you get a mix of both, you still get the kill. But the AM9Ps themselves, even if you get 2 hits, which isn't that likely in the first place, you're not gonna get that easy of a kill. And the long-range missiles here are not the greatest either. The French Super F530F and the normal R530 are not the most amazing long-range missiles, but they are long-range missiles at least, and the planes are priced accordingly, and they have 30% ECM. So those are nice things to have as well. Plus, they are fast here, 1,325 kmh, so they come in pretty quickly. And the bomber variant's going as fast as well. You get an HE cluster mix, which is not using the best HE bombs here. Only 227 kilogram bombs versus the 1,000 kilogram bombs here, which actually do a good job. And then you get a normal cluster variant, but just a bit too small to reliably always get the kill here with the 330 kilogram and the damage they do. So that's why they only cost 175 points. That's why they're a bit cheaper. But yeah, the HE one here is the sure killer. The others are a bit weird, and especially as the reload time here goes up a bit as well. This thing only having 60-second reload time is going to be dangerous if the enemy doesn't take care of it. So this is going to be interesting. Cluster Bomber has a cheap reload time as well, so that's pretty helpful as well, and can delete IFVs and so on. And if you get 2, the price might be worth it there as well. And the C-11 here, older plane, with only rocket pods, no Sidewinders at this at all. But 38 rockets here, okay as well. CRV-7s are pretty decent rockets. Yeah, they can deal with infantry. It's a bit of a shame that it doesn't have sidewinders, as it would be a good helicopter hunter then, but this way around, only 10% ECM as well, so not that amazing. The other ones, I think, are more the planes that you're going to use, as your slots are somewhat limited as well, so you're likely going to go with 2 cuts of fighters and then 1 HE bomber, and then maybe the cluster. That's going to be it here, as the air tap. But in general, a really solid infantry division, I think. Like, it's not super special, but it is something that NATO doesn't have as many divisions of. Like, this is just a regular infantry division. You have 1 cut of special forces, you have really solid mid-tier tanks, you have solid mid-tier artillery, no forward deployment shenanigans or anything. This is just bread and butter infantry division gameplay from a Western European nation, and decent mix of everything. It's really mid-tier, but it could be mid-tier in a pretty decently cost-efficient and fun way, I believe. And, like, really compete with something like the 16th Belgian. And that is a really good division at the moment, so this could go pretty well. Like, the Spanish infantry has been working out pretty well in Planeta, and I would expect the same out of this year. And yeah, the differences aren't as big as I would want them to be, but there are still a decent amount of different units here, and the tank tab is for sure quite unique. The recon tab has at least some extra special forces in it and so on, and the air tab is pretty interesting as well with all those 30 ECM planes for a relatively cheap price. So, yep, I don't think this is the most fancy of DLCs. The DLCs around the Nemesis never are the things that bring the most new stuff to the table. That's not what they are there for. But it brightens the roster if you're interested in it. If you're Spanish and you want to play more Spanish and not only Prenetta, that's a way as well. And I like that Eugen is implementing more nations that would usually not show up in other Cold War games or war games in general. So, yeah, good show here with the Spanish. And as I said, I think it should be a pretty decent and fun division. Not the most amazing. Let me know down below what you think about it, and see you all in the next one.